Hey guys, welcome to the story of Silent Hill 1, one of the most iconic and terrifying survival horror franchises ever made. In this video, we're kicking things off with the very first game in the series, released back in 1999. And as you probably know, the remake is already in the works, and I gotta say, the soundtrack is insanely good. If you haven't subscribed to the channel yet, make sure you do. And if you enjoy the video, don't forget to smash that like button. So the main character here is Harry Mason, a 32-year-old guy who's driving late at night with his daughter. On the road, a female cop on a motorcycle suddenly zooms past them. But just a bit further, Harry sees her bike wrecked on the ground, and the officer is nowhere to be found. Looks like she crashed. Harry, being a bit of a jerk at first, mutters something like, "Wow, what a genius, who's giving driver's licenses to women anyway?" Which, of course, comes back to bite him as karma later on. Next thing he knows, Harry wakes up from a crash and realizes his daughter, who is sitting right next to him, is gone. Panicking, he gets out of the car and starts looking for her. Why would a little girl wander off alone after a crash in the middle of nowhere? Still, Harry starts searching the foggy streets for his daughter Cheryl. He ends up in this narrow alley, and suddenly the whole atmosphere turns super dark and creepy. With nothing but his lighter, he keeps walking, seeing weirder and scarier stuff around every corner. Finally, a bunch of deformed monsters jump him. No matter what he does, he can't fight them off, and boom, he dies. Harry dies, but then wakes up inside a diner the next day. Still confused as hell about what just happened, he suddenly comes face to face with that same police officer from earlier. Turns out she's alive and her name's Cybil. Harry and Cybil start talking about how messed up the town feels. Harry's desperate to find his daughter, and Cybil's saying she hasn't seen a single soul here besides him. Phones are dead. The whole area is covered in fog. Cybil hands Harry a gun for protection and decides to head out to the next town to try and get back up. Harry's left alone to pull himself together and starts searching again, when out of nowhere he sees flying demon dog thing. Luckily, that gun's about to come in real handy. I think that's enough scene setting to give you the vibe of this game. Honestly, the graphics are super dated, and if we keep going beat by beat like this, both you and I would probably get tired. So from here on, I'll fast forward through the rest of the story and break down the key events for you. So here's the deal. Cybil actually came to Silent Hill because of a drug case she was investigating, but things obviously didn't go as planned. As for Harry, he used to have a wife named Jody. Now Cheryl, the girl he's searching for, isn't their biological daughter. They actually found her on the road years ago and adopted her. Sadly, Jody passed away 4 years before the events of the game due to an illness, leaving Harry heartbroken and struggling with depression. One day, Cheryl asks her father if they could go on a trip. He gladly agrees and wonders where she wants to go. Cheryl's answer is Silent Hill, and that simple request is what set everything in motion. Yup, Silent Hill is the actual name of the town where everything takes place. Fun fact, the town itself is loosely based on a real location with its own dark history, but that's a story for another time. Back in the game, Harry's search for Cheryl eventually leads him to the town school. Along the way, he fights all kinds of monsters, each creepier than the last. The streets are crawling with hell dogs, and inside the school, he runs into what look like demonized school kids. As you play through Silent Hill, you'll notice something really creepy. Every now and then, the whole world suddenly shifts. Everything goes pitch black, the walls get rusty and corroded, and the entire place looks like a nightmare version of reality. This is what fans call the Otherworld or the Dark Underworld. Nobody ever explains exactly what it is, but theories suggest it's like a twisted dimension that overlaps with our own reality. So, moving on, Harry's wandering around the school when suddenly a phone rings out of nowhere.
Daddy? Help me. Daddy? Where are you?
Cheryl!
Obviously, our main goal is to find our daughter and get the hell out of this cursed place. But Harry's freaking out from how messed up everything looks, and yet the only way forward is to keep solving puzzles and pushing on. Eventually, he ends up in this burning room, face to face with the first boss of the game, a nasty monster called Split Head. Harry's got no choice but to fight it, and after taking it down, he finally escapes the Otherworld and pops back into what looks like the real world. But then that strange girl shows up again, the same one who caused Harry's car to crash at the very beginning. Her real identity isn't revealed just yet, but it will come to light soon. After barely surviving the nightmare at the school, Harry hears church bells echoing through the foggy streets. He heads toward the sound and meets a strange woman named Dahlia Gillespie. Now Dahlia talks in riddles and cryptic nonsense, constantly hinting that if Harry wants to find his daughter, he has to follow the path and head to the hospital. Before leaving, she hands him a weird pyramid-shaped charm called the Floros, a mystical item that supposedly helps against the darkness. Harry has no clue what it's for yet, but Dahlia insists it'll come in handy. Silent Hill may look like a quiet, peaceful little town from the outside. The truth is way darker. This place is home to a cult known as the Order. These guys are hardcore fanatics who only believe in their own twisted religion. To them, every other belief system in the world is fake. They worship a god, and their ultimate goal is to bring about a rebirth, literally resurrecting this god into our world. And Dahlia, she's not just some random woman. She's basically the leader of this cult. Now about that girl we keep seeing, her name is Alessa, she's Dahlia's daughter, and here's where things get really wild. Alessa is what you'd call a medium, someone with supernatural powers who can connect with other dimensions. Dahlia wanted to use her own daughter's powers to give birth to their god. So she performed this twisted ritual, a dangerous ceremony that involved massive fire and destruction, basically sacrificing Alessa to make their god reborn. But things didn't go as planned. The ritual left Alessa horribly burned, but she survived. Traumatized and fed up with her mother's insanity, Alessa fought back in the only way she could. To stop the cult from using her full power, she split her soul in two. One half stayed with her, and the other half was reborn as a baby that Harry and his wife would later find on the road and adopt. That child was Cheryl. So here's the big reveal. The Cheryl we've been chasing the whole game, she's actually the missing half of Alessa. That's why Cheryl begged Harry to take her on vacation to Silent Hill in the first place. Deep down, she always wanted to reunite with her other half. And now, after everything, the two souls finally merge back together, restoring Alessa to her full power. Imagine raising a kid for 4 years, loving her like your own daughter, only to find out she was never really herself at all, and now she doesn't even exist anymore. That's some next-level twisted storytelling, and honestly, for $19.99, the developers nailed it. Of course, a lot of this backstory is told more clearly in Silent Hill Origins, released in 2007, which is actually a prequel to this game. Now, one big question remains. What are all these monsters Harry's been fighting? Well, they're basically physical manifestations of Alessa's fears and trauma. Everything terrifying in Silent Hill comes straight out of her subconscious. For example, remember the creepy deformed school children wandering around the school? That ties back to Alessa's real childhood, when she was bullied and tormented by other kids because of her supernatural abilities. They mocked her, called her a witch, and made her life hell. That trauma is why the school setting is so twisted and hostile in the game. Later on, Harry makes his way to the hospital, where he runs into Dr. Michael Kaufman, supposedly the town's doctor, but in reality, he's a shady drug dealer running operations out of Silent Hill. Turns out Cybil was chasing him down before she got caught up in all this madness.
My name is Harry Mason. I'm in town on vacation.
Thank God, another human being.
Do you work here?
I'm Dr. Michael Kaufman. I work at this hospital.
So maybe you can tell me what's going on.
I really can't say. I was taking a nap in the staff room. When I woke up, it was like this. Everyone seems to have disappeared. And it's snowing out, this time of year.
At the hospital, Harry also meets Lisa Garland, a nurse who seems sweet but is clearly terrified by what's happening. Here's the creepy truth. When Alessa was burned during Dahlia's ritual, her mother secretly brought her to this very hospital to keep her alive and hiding. Kaufman and Lisa became her caretakers. But here's the kicker. Lisa has actually been dead for a long time in the real world. She overdosed on drugs. Her soul has been trapped here in the other world ever since. Now, Silent Hill has multiple endings depending on two big choices. Kaufman's side quest. At one point, Harry can find a special substance called aglaophotis, a red liquid that can literally expel demons from people. Cybil's fate. During the game, Cybil gets possessed by a parasite and attacks Harry. You can either kill her outright or use the aglaophotis to save her. So, depending on what you do, the ending changes. Remember the pyramid-shaped charm Dahlia gave Harry earlier, the Floros? Well, here's the messed up part. All this time, Harry never knew the truth about Alessa. He just thought he was trying to save Cheryl. Dahlia tricked him into using the Floros against her own daughter, draining Alessa's power. Once she's completely weakened, Dahlia shows up and reveals her true plan, and Harry finally realizes he was just a pawn. The only reason Alessa allowed him to get close was because she didn't see him as a threat. But by then, it's too late. Cheryl is gone. She's already fused with Alessa. Dahlia completes her ritual and begins the rebirth of their god, using Alessa's body as the vessel. And no matter what choices you made, this leads to the final showdown. Harry has to fight the god itself, destroy it, and put an end to the nightmare. After the battle, Alessa reappears in an angelic form. And depending on which ending you unlock, things play out differently. For example, if you complete Kaufman's side quest, he comes and attacks Dahlia. Either way, the monster still ends up burning and killing her, but here's the difference. During the boss fight, Kaufman throws the special substance we found for him, which weakens the boss. And if you save Cybil, she shows up at the end to help. Mostly emotionally, but still. So basically, the game has a really good ending, a normal good ending, and a bad ending. There's also a funny, ridiculous ending called the UFO ending, which I'll skip. The best ending, you have to do both, complete Kaufman's side quest and keep Cybil alive. In this ending, Alessa gives birth to a baby, a super important newborn. Kaufman gets eaten, and Harry and Cybil escape Silent Hill safely. The good ending, you do Kaufman's quest, but Cybil doesn't survive. Everything else still happens, but you're left alone with the baby. This is considered the main canon ending for the series and ties into the sequels. The key part is that Harry survives and a mysterious child lives. We know nothing about her at this point. The bad ending, if you do nothing, don't do Kaufman's quest and don't save Cybil, then you're screwed. Harry stays trapped in a nightmare, and both he and the child die. There's no one like Cybil to help him escape, and he dies grieving the loss of Cheryl. Now that you know all the endings, let's wrap up a few interesting points. No matter what, Dahlia dies, probably revenge from Alessa for all the suffering her mother caused her during those fire rituals. Dr. Kaufman and Lisa die too. Lisa had a severe drug addiction and likely died from it. And Kaufman was a drug dealer, so it all makes sense. The only one left is the baby. Harry must escape with her no matter what. At this point, you don't know who she is, but spoiler alert, she becomes the main character of Silent Hill 3, Heather Mason. Now, the bad ending is actually the most important for understanding the game. It shows that when Harry dies in Silent Hill, his lifeless body is found in the car after the crash. This means that much of the game was an illusion, not that it never happened, but it didn't happen in the real world. Silent Hill seems like a normal town from the outside, but it's basically a purgatory. People get trapped there either because of sins they've committed or for other mysterious reasons. Harry's fate was tied to Silent Hill because he brought the wrong child into his life, fed her, and cared for her. Thanks for watching. And at the end of this video, I'll show you that ridiculous UFO ending I mentioned. Don't forget to hit the like button.
Sorry. Let me ask you, have you seen a little girl around here? Short, black hair.